Does everybody know what a dribble handoff is? Or sometimes we might call it a DHO, which is just the acronym, right? The D is dribble, H is hand, and then O is off. Tim's gonna dribble that. CJ, and it basically is a modified ball screen because we have both options. We got CJ who can attack from it, or maybe Tim slips or space as well, and CJ can also hit him just like he might hit someone setting a ball screen for him, a pick and roll.
So he knows a good defender is gonna be able to tell that something's about to happen. So the first thing he's gonna do is start to close in on my body, and he goes. So when I know, the first thing I'm gonna do is create a running angle. So I'm gonna make sure he gets behind me. So I'm gonna step into him. And now he has no choice but to be behind me. The second key to a dribble handoff is speed. After that, I'm full speed running as fast as I can to get to this ball because that's gonna make the defense hard. Now when we get here, the reason I want him behind me is the same thing with a screen away. I don't want a gap because if there's a gap here and I give him a gap and he goes to hand it to me, this is what happens. The ball is unprotected. So the two things we do to combat that is to make him trail me. And the second thing is when this ball's here, I take the ball from him. I do not wait for it. It's not football where I let him put it in my chest. When he goes, I take the ball because I want to get the ball away from the defense as fast as possible and put myself in position to shoot or dribble as fast as possible.
You got the handoff, and now what's first read?
First read, we go back to that field of vision. I square my shoulders, it's the rim. I look to see what's here. If I have that field of vision, the cone is squared, then I attack it. And until something gets in that vision, I attack the rim. The first place we talked about it, over there with the pump fake. If he threw me the ball, and I pump fake like this, would you jump? Would you think I was gonna shoot it? But you wouldn't do anything, right? So the first place when you catch the ball off any type of thing we do should be at that. That's the goal, right? That's where you want the ball to get to. So the first place, that's what we're looking at. Everything after that comes from the cone, the field of vision. What's in my way, what's not in my way.
Okay. If we go to the handoff, now it's an easy read if Shad stays attached, right? Because if Tim does his job and you do your job, he's gonna be disrupted and we're gonna get a 2-on-1. But now here's a switch. What are things that you try to combat, or what moves do you try to use, or what, obviously you want your vision, but how do you attack the switch? Because for the defense, it's the easiest way to guard it, right? It takes away a lot of problems.
So the switch goes back to the speed, which is why we wanna be off of this as fast and dangerous as we can, because if I'm running full speed and I take this ball, he's flat-footed. If there's a switch, he's like that. So I can literally beat him. I have a running start with the ball. So everything you do, and this should be with everything we do, should be with an intent, with speed to get the ball and you want to score or you want to make a play. So the first, you watch Steph Curry run off screens, he does not jog. There is no jogging in Steph's game unless he's getting ready to run. Anytime there's an action with the ball, that man is full speed, shoulders down, and now this is a reaction instead of a thought.
Gotcha. And does it help that, like you said, you're coming off shot ready? So now maybe you can play, it's not the same size of a closeout, but it's a mini closeout. And you're trying to get the same look. If I look to shoot, maybe now I can play off a hesitation, a sell, some of that.
So to your point, which is why my first look should be at the rim, because if you're there, if I do this versus this, your hands go straight up. If you got your hands in your pocket and I look at the rim, I shoot it. If I turn and I look at the rim and we make a decision, but I make him make the first decision. That's the biggest key to this. He makes the decision. I get to do the two things I want, shoot it or take one dribble and shoot it. He can determine that, that's fine, but I have to make him.
And I'll tell you, and this is high school, college as well, that's actually a bad habit a lot of us have. We come off and we do look down or we look at the guy in front of us. So, and I kind of say it like this, in life, if you have a problem and you only stare at the problem, are you gonna be able to find your solution? And so when we come off, and like he was saying, you look down, you're just looking at your problem. And you got like 0.5 seconds to find a solution. So when he's telling you to come off and look at that rim, he's already, like he said, that's where the solution's gonna be, because now we're forcing them to make the first decision, like he said. Everybody got that?
Even to your point, necessarily, if I turn the corner, really, he's part of the problem. The problem is I want the ball in the basket. So my eyes are gonna make him do what I want. Everybody in the gym is looking at you. You have all the power, even the fans. Imagine that, full speed, having that, look at your defender that way. He's gonna do what I want him to do, especially if we got a bunch of gym full of shooters, right? This is what we came here for, to become good shooters. All of you believe you can shoot, make him believe that.
He might hit his man a little bit. Again, trying to create a delayed step. We're coming just as much as Shad's coming full speed, Tim's going full speed. Now we're gonna force them to make a read there, which we won't get too deep. Does that make sense? When you're the handoff, please do not do this. This is where 90% of the turnovers happen with you guys. We just fall through it and flip it. And it goes that way. That's what Tim does. He's gonna make a little move. He's gonna jump stop, just like the screen, and that's there. Now, does it always become a great screen on a handoff? Sometimes, but not really, is it? Especially if they switch. It's not about just tagging somebody, it's about making them take 1 or 2 steps in the opposite direction, right? How, like you with Jakob Poeltl when he was in Toronto, right? You used to tell him he'd be hunting these screens and getting offensive fouls, but as long as what? You were good.
What's the fastest way to get from point A to point B? A straight line. So if I'm here and he's trying to get to me, if I can put something in front of him that just makes him do this, it buys me half a second, especially shooting the ball. If he's passing me the ball and somebody has to like dodge, they don't even have to get hit. That buys me time. So when we're doing a handoff, we want to make sure that this guy doesn't have a straight line. That's why he's popping his feet to do the hand, and that's why I'm gonna be shoulder to shoulder. Because now look, he got off me, or he has to go around me this way, but as long as we don't give him the route that we want, which is the straight line to the ball, then we're able to do a lot more things.